Hello everybody, it's Mama Shar here, and welcome back to a brand new video on this channel. So in this video I really want to it's going to be a very long video, that's for sure. That's the one thing it's a very long video. So I'm going to try my best not to cut up too much because I don't want to spend hours cutting up a video today. But if you guys can tell by the title of this video, it is the fact that I'm going to actually open up to you guys a bit about my old job. The job I had before. Tomorrow it will be 3 weeks that I don't have the job. Right now, I'll let you guys know what I'm going through. Right now, I really kind of think it's time for me to focus on myself. I really want to focus on myself. And to a lot of people, yeah, it might come off as selfish because I'm not working. But the reality is, 3 years of my life I was working overtime hours. 6 days a week, sometimes 6, sometimes 5. It definitely wasn't, most of my days I want to spend. But in this video, I'm going to open up about my old job. Everything that went through with my old job. So you guys can understand where I'm coming from and what happened at my job. And why I'm considering suing them. Anybody that's new to this channel, I'm transgender. So if you want to hate on me because I'm transgender, go right ahead. I don't care. But for those people that do care and those people that do understand, this is for you guys. Don't ever do what I did and stay at a job where you feel like you're just never going to be accepted. That's the truth. When I first worked at this job, I signed up as a male. I didn't know what transgender was. I had, I think, about 8 months in this job as a male. I signed up for this job back in 2016 on February 22nd, to be exact, 2016. And for that first bit of time, it was a very easy job. As a male, I had it very easy. No problems. I arguments with managers here and there. Who doesn't have that, it seems like, nowadays? I'm very young. I am very active. My mindset is, I want things, your mindset's a little different whenever you're younger than when you're older, and you're kind of set with things. And you just kind of do your job, and that's about it. But as a younger person, it's different. I came out on October 31st, 2016. And when I came out as transgender, I didn't really come out as transgender. I came out as a cross-dresser at first, and then later on it was transgender. Now, I can't sit there and say that your job experience or your family has to be completely perfectly fine after you transition. When you first start trying your transition, I understand that it's new to some people, it's different for some people. And at first, the first crew I went through was actually quite a bit of an easy crew. It wasn't so harsh there. Seemed to be not against anything that I was doing. A little kind of took it as a joke, but they didn't really give me hell for it, in other words. When I first came out, I really wanted to kind of start dressing up and presenting myself more as female. What comes with that, I wanted to have long hair, so I used a wig. Now, the company that I was working with, Samons Tiger Stores, I wasn't allowed to wear a wig, and reason being was because salespeople couldn't have their hair past their shoulders. I was told that past saleswomen have not had long hair. Well, one of the managers said, well, that's not true, because the last one we had long hair. So immediately I felt very, very kind of attacked by the company almost. The beginning of my shit at this company began this one day. I had gone to lunch, and I had actually walked to the back slowly to the break room, and I stopped, and I could hear people talk. I could hear my coworkers talking, and as I could hear them, I heard someone say, "Yeah, he thinks he's a girl," and everyone starts laughing. At that moment in time, my ideal of the word trust vanished. I did not believe in what people had said to my face anymore. I began to believe that everyone was talking about me behind my back. And it's hard because when you feel like your whole life you haven't been going through that mindset, and all of a sudden, like, you just hear it. Shit, words can hurt a lot more than people think. And to me, they have been a very big part of my life and part of my depression. And a big part of what this company is. I fought hard to get my wig privileges, to wear my long hair, and I was granted the opportunity to do it. However, they transferred me to another store, in which I'm pretty sure was because the manager at the store I was working at didn't want me to wear a wig, because God forbid I wore a wig for 3 seconds of my shift and I'd be told, take that off. You know. Anyways, with that being said, I went to the next store. This next store I'd worked on before, but I worked as a guy before. And so people were kind of taking the wrong way to see me in a different kind of shadow, a different kind of way. And I understand, but I'm talking, like, seriously in a different way. I was told that I had to understand that customers are going to give me crap and all that stuff, and that's fine. And it was true. Customers did give me crap, but I didn't. In the end of it all, it wasn't the customers who got to me. When I first got there, a couple weeks into it, a lot of my coworkers I used to work with as a guy were avoiding me. Would stick to one side of the store, and I'd be on the other side. And one of my coworkers I considered a friend, I did a lot of business with him as a guy, didn't really talk to me as much, kind of avoided me almost in a way. And later told me that he was uncomfortable with me transitioning. And even told me that he'd be embarrassed to take me to go out doing things with me at the time. Anyways, this position in this area was a little hard because a lot more people were very judgmental. People were misgendering me out of all the places. My coworkers kept on calling me a he and a him, wouldn't mess up, wouldn't, correct themselves. It was very much hard. It was very hard. And then, not only that, I was called a faggot at this store, for being who I was. Because one of my coworkers came up to me and asked me, well, what do you want us to call you? And I said, well, because my name hadn't changed. I said, until my name changes to Charlotte, please call me, just say, hey, you, or whatever. And one of the coworkers said, we don't have to say anything. I could call you Steven as long as your name is that. I'll call you Steven. We're not faggots here. And the next day, that guy actually ended up transferring from the store and going to another store. But you guys gotta understand that when you come out, you have a goal. And my goal was to look the best it can be. Get to where I want to get in the future. I still don't look the way I want to look. Right now, I'm doing what I can do to look the way I want. Now is surgery time. But beforehand, I was still building myself up. Therefore, I wanted to present myself as like the females. The females at my work were the cashiers, and the males were the salespeople. Occasionally, females were salesmen. But it was very, very rare. I was the only one in the chain at the time. And, well, with that being said, I wanted to present myself the way the cashiers were. Because the cashiers were wearing whatever they wanted. And it wasn't about the fact that they could wear whatever they want. It's because of the fact that they were just dressed in way more feminine clothes than the males were. And the way I see it is, if you're wearing collared shirts with buttons like all the guys are, you feel more masculine than you do feel feminine. Because the females are over there wearing blouses and blue jeans, and you're forced to wear black and stuff like that, and they're wearing feminine things, and you're stuck wearing masculine things. It attacks your dysphoria so much that you believe that your appearance and what you're wearing is who you are presenting yourself as to the public. And that's a true thing. People walk in, they might get confused, and they might say, oh, I'm wearing what the guys are wearing, I must be a guy. And I fought the company so many times to let me be able to dress like the females, and they wouldn't let me. I was allowed the opportunity to be a cashier, in which I did take, but then the guy told me that he couldn't offer a part-time position, though he was hiring other women for part-time. After a while, my manager actually decided to allow me to wear what the females were wearing. And it was awesome. Great. And then complaints began to happen. I overheard one of our assistant managers complaining about my clothing, and I ended up arguing with him. And from then on, I was pulled in. I went to the office to talk to my main manager. My main manager is actually, I'm going to call him John. He is actually part of the LGBT community, and he's gay. And I figured he'd know and understand everything that I'm going through. And he understood everything, and he's like, yeah, he should really not be complaining because this is an incentive I gave you. Brought him into the office. We all had an office meeting about it. And lo and behold, I lost my privilege. I lost my incentive. And I'm like, wait, I feel like I got backstabbed. And it was ridiculous. I couldn't believe I got backstabbed. Anyways, with that being said, I ended up not trusting this manager anymore and beginning to kind of like feel like I was being hightailed. People were constantly complaining about what I was doing, what I was wearing, how I was presenting myself, everything that I did. It was like I was getting complained about. And it was ridiculous. I would talk to the other females, which were cashiers, but I couldn't be where the cashiers were because they kept us segregated and they kept us away from each other. And I wanted to talk to the other females because I didn't feel comfortable talking to the guys. None of them didn't like me, and the females were the coolest people there. And I was giving a lot of crap for it. And people would complain, often telling me, go back to where the salesperson's area is at. At this time, the company's still not working with me on the clothing policy. And I was allowed to wear those clothes again. And I was happy, and then they were taken away again. And I was happy, and taken away again. Everything changed when that manager that I told you guys that was a part of the LGBT community, I actually heard that he had told people behind my back, oh, Charlotte's just a guy that's gay that can't come out. That hasn't come out yet. Said I was gay. Just a gay guy that hasn't come out yet. And I lost all respect for this guy. Every time I went through a lot of situations, if you guys don't know, when I was working in the store, I was working at my early parts of my transition hormonal wise, so I was having a lot of mood swings. So because I was having a lot of mood swings, I was always either really mad, really sad, or really happy. When customers would get to me, I would get sad and I'd cry, or when people got to me, I would get sad and I would cry. And this manager that was gay would tell me, you need to get some thick skin. You need to get thick skin. You need to get thick skin. That wasn't the hard part about it. He would compare me to being gay. He would say, well, I'm gay, and people say faggot, and people make word mass remarks on me, but you don't hear me crying. And one day I finally grew up the courage to say, don't ever compare me to you. Because being gay is more and more accepted than being trans. And he took so offense to it. He's like, you want me to transfer you, blah, 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 blah. After being at the store for a while, I kind of grew depressed. I didn't want to be here anymore. I felt like I had no more friends. And I ended up moving to another store that I felt like nobody knew me at. This company was a family-owned company. It's a small company. There's about 10 stores in the whole chain. And lo and behold, I go to the store and I spend the first 7 months there, and I'm so happy. It's one of the best experiences I had. It felt like no one knew I was trans. I felt like I was living stealth. And if you guys don't know how living stealth is, it feels good. It feels good to like go out there and never feel like you have to worry about anyone looking at you. You just go with life the way life should be gone, it seems like. And what happened was, after about 7 months, my manager made a joke about Caitlyn Jenner towards me. And that's when I figured out that this guy knew. This manager had to be one of my worst managers I ever had. He was really good when he was really good. He allowed me to dress in the way the women were. He didn't complain, and it was a very laid-back store. This guy was a very religious guy. He was a Donald Trump supporter, and I was surprised with how supportive he was. And then everything changed. Rules were made, and I lost my privilege again. And it was a rebellion, a fest for just me trying to get the rights to be able to dress with the way the girls dressed. And it was hard because this company refused to say anything that they were sexist or anything. And it was hard. Actually, no customers gave me crap at the store. But coworkers began to get worse and worse. People would often... one of my coworkers told me one time, he's like, I could hit you. You're not a girl. You're not a woman. My manager, the store manager there, said, that's a dude. That's a man. Guys, when you're trans and you let people know about your life and people know about your life, it's almost like people think that it's like they could get involved in it, you know? It's like me saying I went through a divorce 5 to 10 years ago, and people all of a sudden have, you know, beef against me to say that I have a divorce. It has nothing to do with them. My transition started 2 years ago, and these guys were giving me shit now about who I used to be. None of them have actually knew me. The reason why they knew I was trans was because I guess there was a truck driver that would deliver merchandise to each store that knew about me, that told every other store. I was basically like a celebrity at this point. Everyone knew me as the person who transitioned, the transgender person, you know, the guy who turned into a girl, the guy who dresses up like a girl, stuff like that. And honestly, this is going to be a long video. And being at the store, it was one of the hardest things ever. Because I was constantly attacked for my gender. There was one time this customer that's actually a main customer of ours, and he knew me from early in my transition. He came in, and I didn't really like him at first anyways, because he just came off as a real jerk, an asshole, and a big head. And one of my he said, would you want Charlotte to do your plumbing at your house? It was supposed to be a joke. He was a funny guy. And I overheard the guy that's a plumber say, I lay the pipe, I don't take it. I wasn't even talking to this guy, and I overheard it. And he tried to deny it, he did that. When this guy came back, I confronted him about it, and he completely went off on me. And from then on, we argued, and I just told him, please, in my softest tone, don't talk to me. Well, lo and behold, he went to the office, and the office took care of the situation without my approval, without my notice. They did it behind my back, because this guy spends money at the company, and they don't want to lose money. I felt immediately backstabbed by the company. Back to my main manager. He, one day I was very sick, and I was going to go to the break room to take a 15-minute nap, but my boss is up there, and he throws a fit if you close your eyes for 5 seconds. So I went to the only private room I have in the entire store, and it's a bathroom, where I felt like I had privacy. And I walk out after I take my nap, my 15-minute nap, and I walk to the front, and this guy says, why were you sleeping in the restroom? And in front of everybody. And I was embarrassed. I said, no, I wasn't. Then he said, why are you lying to me? Go home. So I went home, and now everything became fishy when my friend said that he said that I admitted to sleeping in the restroom I never did. And I began to spark a question. That's when a coworker came to me and said he said that he only knew because he looked underneath the restroom doorway. And immediately I felt like I was violated. I wanted that guy out of the company. I talked to the HR. I said I want him fired. The company demoted him, sent him to another store, and I felt like, I guess that's something, right? I had to fight like hell to get that to happen, but it happened. A couple of days later, after the manager had been demoted and gone, the HR showed up and told me that makeup is too conservative, take it off. I had a little bird right here, and I've been putting symbols on my face for the past almost 2 years at this company. Why is it always a problem already now? Why is it all of a sudden a problem now? Because they wanted to start enforcing rules. The HR even said himself, I didn't care at first, but I started caring. I was stripped from my wig, stripped from the clothes, and stripped from my makeup. My only bit of me that I felt was still there. My hair had grown out. I was stripped. I was depressed and didn't want to be at work anymore. At that moment, I actually had my first panic attack, anxiety attack at work, and multiple anxiety attacks after that. I couldn't handle this job anymore. Months and months go by, and we finally get over all of our situation. And I think a month and a half went by where everything was going cool. The HR comes in and brings me into the room. He has me look at a paper that says he doesn't have to give me a reason why they're letting me go, but they're letting me go. Let me tell you guys something. Though I went through a lot of shit at this corporation, there was one thing I was very consistent on, and that was showing up, being on time, and doing my work. I wasn't the best worker, but I wasn't the worst worker. I busted my ass to get the inventory done. Worked hard. And I was let go. There was a guy on our job, in our store, that didn't show up half the time. Called in, sometimes didn't even call in. Was on drugs. Not gonna name out names. And I was let go. Everybody was surprised when I got let go. Nobody knew I was gonna let go. Not even the store manager. And the way I see it was, the company's just trying to get rid of a problem. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that I wasn't a problem. I'm not saying that the situations I went through were completely not my fault. Because maybe, in a way, maybe it was stress in the company. But they didn't say any reason. They said that we don't have to give you a reason why we're letting you go. Because they don't want to tell me that it's because I'm trans, and because they don't want to deal with the situations anymore with the clothes or with anything else. To this day, I got let go for no reason. They didn't let go of the guy I told them to let go for sexually harassing me by looking underneath the doorway. Or the guy that does drugs and doesn't show up to work half the time. But they let go of me. The one that knew the store one of the most knowledgeable people at my store. To show up to work on time. They let me go. Don't get me wrong, guys. I'm very happy that I'm not working there anymore. I'm very happy that I'm in the situation I'm in right now. I could never be more blessed than I am. But I do feel like I've gotten kind of like kicked out of the door, so they didn't have to worry about me anymore. Am I gonna sue the company? I don't know. I am gonna try to talk to lawyers about it and see what they think I should do. But for that being said, I'm gonna leave you guys like that. That's basically a rundown. Nearly not as much as I went through, but it is. I don't want this video to be an hour long, so I hope you guys did take the time to watch the video. If you guys did, please leave it a like if you understand and you guys want to support me. Thank you so much. Subscribe if you're new. And I'm Mama Shar, and I'll see you guys next video. You guys are my Charlotte Tears. Bye. Mwah.